Paul, we've got about a week left of the January transfer window, just over, and just wanted to ask you about the financial situation at the club, because a few weeks ago, obviously, you said the club had some good financial news. Then the manager was talking about the restrictions he's working under with regard to recruitment. So I think it'd be quite good if you could just clear up exactly what the situation is at the club financially. Is there money to spend at the moment, and what do you think the manager might have to work with in the remaining days of the transfer window?
I think I love doing these interviews because I've always felt that the club needs to be as open as possible with fans, so that fans are more aware than perhaps fans at other clubs as to what's actually going on behind the scenes. And one of the downsides of that is that sometimes you're too open and you say things which get misinterpreted, or you say things which are absolutely right when you say them, but which subsequently change due to circumstances that you didn't foresee. And that's certainly what's happened at Cheltenham Town in recent months, where there would appear to be mixed messages about money available, money not available, good luck, good news about money coming in. And all those things were true and genuine when I said them, but sometimes, let's say, things change. And would fans rather we just didn't say anything about anything, and like a lot of clubs do, or would fans rather have this openness? And I've always felt that it's better to be open. I'd like to do fans forums. I'd like to do more fans forums, actually, and perhaps we can do that. I like to do the question sessions as we do, and I like to try and give honest answers to those questions. And hence these interviews, I want to be honest too. So, in terms of the financial situation, when Paul Buckle came to the club, he was aware of the financial situation, absolutely aware that things were very, very tight. And he knows how to operate in that environment. He did it at Torquay. I suspect there was more money available at Rovers and Luton. But nevertheless, that was the situation. He inherited a squad, which is often what managers do when they come to a club. They inherit a squad and they have to make the best. So that was the situation when he came in. Some things happened. Obviously, you know, moving on Mark and Sean North, there was a cost to the club that we hadn't budgeted for. Then in January we had some good news with some money coming into the club that we hadn't budgeted for. And so throughout the course of the season, you know, we've set a budget and we're roughly keeping to that budget. But within that budget, there's been huge variances. You know, incomes coming in that we weren't expecting, costs that we weren't expecting. So out of all that, I think we're going to end up making the loss that we expected to make. So what we're trying to do now, I mean, obviously we realise, and everyone, it's obvious that we're in a very, very difficult situation as a football club. We've worked extremely hard to get into the Football League, and we've worked extremely hard to stay in the Football League. And we've had some really, really tough times over the last few years that have been well documented. Lots of sleepless nights, and you know, clearly we're in a difficult situation at the moment. No one wants to be where we are. So therefore, we've got to try and give the manager every support we possibly can as a board to free up some cash to enable him to strengthen the squad. He's had a good chance now to look at what he's got, decide what sort of who fits in his team and who doesn't. We've already seen some movement. We're going to see further movement, but to enable us to bring players in at a cost, we need to try and make some savings. So we've already done some of that, as I said. You know, there's a couple of players, 3 players have gone now. There's going to be further savings announced next week, and those savings are going to go into the playing budget. So that's really where we are. Every single penny that we can save will go back into the playing budget to enable Paul to bring in different players. Players have been identified, and there's a lot of conversations being had now with various people at the football club to try and, as I say, make some savings. So it's a really difficult situation, but I don't suppose that there are many other Football League 2 clubs at the moment splashing the cash. All of them that I can see are trying to release players to bring players in, whether it's Northampton, who've got a huge budget compared to us, or anybody else. And there's a lot of clubs that are doing nothing at all. So I think fans have just got to trust us, and I think, you know, I think the vast majority of fans do trust us to run the club. I think we've done a pretty decent job over the last few years. I know there's been criticism of me personally. I'll take that, because at the end of the day, you know, we are not doing as well as we hoped. But we've got no right to expect to be at the top of League Two or in the playoffs or anything else. We have to battle for that, just like every other club does. And crowds are holding up. But when you got other teams with crowds of 3 or 4 times ours, and Luton on Saturday, it's very, very difficult to compete with those. But we've done our very best to do that over the years, and we have done. So I'm confident that we've made some really tough decisions, particularly obviously with the management team. I think we've got the right management team in now. I've had a fantastic meetings with Paul this week to discussing the way forward, both short term and long term. I'm really enthused. I'm not having sleepless nights at the moment because I'm comfortable and confident that we've got the right people in place. And if you've got the right people in place, you've got a chance. And whilst I haven't seen the last 2 games, I think what you would say is, we're seeing a lot of our younger players now giving a chance. Now, for some of those, that's going to be great for now, but it's also going to be great for next season. Some of them perhaps may not make it, we don't know. We are seeing some new players coming into the club, some exciting new players coming into the club. That's from Liverpool. And I know fans will say we don't want short-term signings, and that's what we said at the start of the season, because we didn't. And when we set out at the start of the season, Mark basically took up the whole budget. And therefore we were where we were. Kobe, Arthur and others came in. We wanted to keep them longer, but were unable to do so. The Liverpool lads, we are really, really trying hard to keep those 3 to the end of the season, but that's not up to us. That's ultimately the players have got to want to stay here, feel that they're benefiting, and obviously Liverpool have got to feel that they're benefiting too, and we're doing everything we can to make sure those players are getting better and that we're looking after them. We signed the lad from Crystal Palace. Let's hope he's going to come straight into the first team. There's no good signing players who are going to go on the bench. So I think Paul is working really, really hard to identify good players who will make the team better and will move us out of the situation that we're in at the moment.
Yeah, look, this is a difficult balancing act because you want to do anything you can to stay in the Football League, but you can't just start throwing money that you haven't got in the attempt to do so, can you?
We can't, but we can't because obviously we're already the financial situation is already very tight. We really don't want to jeopardise that even further and end up with a double whammy, trying to save ourselves and also having financial problems to deal with as well. We've got financial difficulties as it is with cash flow. As I said before, cash flow at football clubs it's been hugely difficult. It's been made much easier over the last few years by the investment we have. But we've got no bank borrowing, we've got no overdraft. So unlike most businesses, we can't dip into an overdraft to see us through cash issues. So January, February, March is always a difficult time for football clubs at this level due to the way that money comes in from the Football League. And so we've got some challenging times ahead of the next 4 to 6 weeks. We need to get through that. But in the meantime, we need to focus too on the playing squad.
Yeah, and we've said it before, but probably more than ever at the moment, you need people to get behind the team, don't you, and realise that it's thick and thin, even though it's been a thin period for the last season and a half. Yeah. The support's needed more than ever.
We really do. We've got some great fans, and I said this time and time again, and I often go and sit with them at away games, and they're just as passionate about the football club as I am and you are. We just need more of them. But they know that too. I think the fans who come on a regular basis are just as frustrated as I am that we're not seeing more Cheltenham Town fans coming. Luton are going to here on Saturday. They're going to be bringing something like 1,600 fans. But Luton are a huge club with a huge pedigree, and it'd be unfair to compare the people at Cheltenham with the people at Luton because they have that huge football pedigree there. But we took 500 fans to Oxford. I thought that they were fantastic. They really got behind the team. They made a difference, and they had a good day out. And we just need those people to come on Saturday and make just as much noise on Saturday at home as they did at Oxford away. And we need them to bring their friends because this is going to be a big game. Luton, it's going to be a great atmosphere. Luton are going well. Our results are improving. I know that we'd all like to see them improving quicker than they have been, but they are improving. We are creating opportunities. We are much more solid at the back. And I think we've got some outstanding players at this football club. I think we've got the best goalkeeper in Football League 2. I think now Matt Taylor's back. That makes a big difference for us. We've got some exciting pace in the team. And clearly what we haven't got is that proven goal scorer at the moment. But having said that, the lad from Liverpool's come in, scored 2 goals in 3 games. So there's lots to be positive about. And I think with the players that Paul has identified, if we can bring those in, then we've got every chance of kicking on now. and finishing in a sort of comfortable mid-table position.